Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Welcome everyone to the beginning of another live Sangha. Today we are just beginning, and I'd like to invite everyone in this space. It is my wish for us to come together, regardless of all the things which may divide us on the surface. This world is certainly one which has the capacity to hold more love, more unity, more compassion. So let us build bridges, seek common ground, and share each other's experiences, relate with them, and find what's positive inside. So I welcome you. Thank you for joining. I trust that those who are coming in, regardless of where you are in life right now, how you are feeling, that you know that you are valid in whatever you are going through. I agree, Ernest. Life is weird. I think weird is a great word to describe life. Life is wonderful, but that wonder can be dark too. And it can be something in between the dark and the light. It can be ridiculous at times, unfathomable. And when we were younger, that was appealing. We reveled in that mystification. As we get older, we get more overwhelmed by it, but I think we can return to that childlike state of wonder. Thank you, dear Rosie. And thank you, Painted Lady. Hello. Thank you for blessing us with 7 roses and a heart me as we begin our Sangha today. Hari Om Tat Sat. Well, you all are early enough for me to play around with this question of the day together. Today I'm wondering, why is everyone so unique? Huh? What's with that, hey? 8 billion people on the planet in the present moment, and yet all of them have a unique story to tell. How is that? Why? What's the importance? Let's get deep with it. Or you can take it whatever direction makes sense to you. But what's the philosophical significance of having so many unique experiences? Thank you, dear Rosie, for your rose. Radhe Radhe. And Harisi, thank you for your heart me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hello, Yana. Thank you for your heart me and team bracelet too. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Much love to you, Mike. If your name is Mike, unless it's Miken Apolitano. Hello, Leila. It's lovely to see you as well, Painted Lady. And thank you, dear Matty, for the whole galaxy. That's very kind of you. A very generous token of appreciation, and I never know what to say for such a big gift, other than it's never expected, but nonetheless appreciated. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Painted Lady, for your hand hearts as well. Om Namah Shakti Shivaya. Grikas, you share to the question of the day. Because vanity is a mass money-making machine. Oh, that's some good alliteration. Lots of M's, isn't it? It is true. We are all fighting for some sense of individuality in our society, and that has become commodified. However, even before this commodification, every human being had such a unique aspect of their personality, innate and natural. What is the importance behind that? That I'd love to explore together. Welcome, dear Nish. Thank you, Valentina, for your tiny. Yippee! Perhaps this is a difficult question, and that's okay. I certainly don't expect anyone to have the right answers, and there are no wrong answers necessarily either. So, if an answer does not come, that's okay too. That's right, Caitlin. I do live with my lovely mother, and I'm very grateful that she does let me stay. I know that in our society it's common for people to move out as soon as they can, but those who are neurodivergent, those who live in a place where it's not quite possible to afford rent or housing, I think we can learn from our Eastern neighbors around the world who have a deep familial relationship with each other, and we can rely on our family for all the wonderful shelters and hospitalities that they provide. All right. I don't know if this question is providing a lot of answers, and that's okay. Here, we can pause our inquiry into this question and leave it for another time. But we can still think about it. I will add that I believe we are all so unique because we are all expressions of one infinite source. We are human beings, and although our humanity is very diverse, that beingness is united. One shared conscious source from which we all get to experience many aspects of this universe. And I think our diversity speaks to the infinitude of expressions that is possible from that undivided source. All right, my friends. Nonetheless, I thank you for exploring this question of the day with me. Thank you, dear Vanessa, for your pair of roses. Radhe, Radhe. Rats you share, you think it's because of the need for expression and the human ability of art. I love that answer. Thank you. And that's okay, Lone Wolf. I'm happy you like the Yam Dana Vanessa. Thank you, Valentina, for your heart me as well. Om Kring Kalikai Namaha. Alright, why don't we explore another section of The Hidden Power in Humans? This book is about chakras and Kundalini, and we've read, I think, a lot about the various foundational aspects of technical yoga. All about how that original sound, the Om, divided into 3 gunas and 5 tattvas, forming Prakriti and Purusha, nature and consciousness, how that nature forms various life forms and the human being has the highest potential to realize the divine. We talked about chakras and Kundalini and the nadis upon which these energies flow. We talked about nirguna, saguna, the formless and the formful aspects of the ultimate. We talked about mantra and the guru principle. And with all that, I think we are ready to dive really deep into some other technical aspects of the practice of yoga. Without further ado, let's continue where we left off. There are some lovely diagrams coming up. For example, the 8 main chakras. From the root to the sacral to the solar plexus to the heart to the throat to the third eye to the bindu chakra and to the crown chakra. And here we have a bhajan, a devotional song by Sri Mahaprabhuji called Ulti Nala Lagi Triveni from the book Leela Amrit. As I imagine this was translated from another language which I have not heard, I don't think I'll be able to sing it in the original melody or rhythm, but I'll do my best. The 3 rising streams unite in the Ajna Chakra, which overflows with nectar. The yogis who have united with God drink it. The first blossom opens downward, all the other blossoms open upwards. If the blossoms unite with one another, you become aware of the formless one. The game of your destiny plays itself out between the blossoms. There flickers the flame of your life. Beyond this flame, you discover the eternal splendor of the divine light. Yourself unites with it. This is the divine play. Only a few succeed in sharing it. Swami Deep saw this and understood. The world is only a shadow. Please excuse my terrible singing. Now we have an image of the Muladhara chakra, which is very beautiful. This is the root chakra. We can see that there is the Devanagari letter Lam, which is the mantra to open the root center. And of course, its Sanskrit name down here, Muladhara. And then we have another word here. What does that say? Oh, it says Muladhara, just in Devanagari. Here we have a whole bunch of information about the Muladhara chakra. Let's quickly go through it. These are the qualities and the symbols of the Muladhara chakra. Oh, I also see that there's 4 petals around it, and each petal has its own mantra as well, starting from the top right, going clockwise. Vam. Oh, I don't know what that one is. It looks like Sham. Then there's yet another Vam, I think, although it's stylized differently. And finally we have Sam. Anyway, so where is the position within the body of the Muladhara chakra? It's at the lower end of the spinal column, below the coccyx. Is that how you pronounce it? The coccyx? Yeah. Something like that. Anyway, below the tailbone. Its color is red. And its tattva, its element, is Prithvi, earth, mother, power, nourishment, security, and protection. Its mantra is indeed Lam, and its sub-mantras are Vam, as I said, Sham, and I got this one wrong. It is Sham, was the third one. That makes sense now. I see it. And Sam. So the 3 sibilants in Sanskrit, Sham, Sham, Sam, and Vam. As a lotus, it has 4 petals. And it's the symbol of the 4 points of the compass, the 4 cardinal directions. As an animal, there is an elephant with 7 trunks, which represents wisdom and wealth. And the Sapta Dhatu, the 7 main minerals. Its divinity is the Pashupati Mahadeva, the form of Shiva known as the Lord of the animal world, Pashupati. Some symbols include a grey Shiva Lingam, the unconscious snake, the Kundalini Shakti energy, an inverted triangle representing creation, awakening. Its qualities and aspects include the border between animal and human empire, unconscious, the seat of karmas from earlier lives, destiny. Positive aspects include creativity, awakening of hidden abilities. Its negative aspects include unconsciousness and ignorance. The prana, the vital force that it represents, is apana, the force of elimination, that which removes stuff from the body. The plane of reality that it represents is bhurloka, the physical plane. Its planet corresponds to Mars, interestingly enough. The principle it represents is ahankara, which is the ego, and the principle of rudra, pride. The precious stone related to the root is the onyx. The metal is lead. Its mineral is calcium. Its characteristic is kama, passion. Its sensitivity is alasya, laziness. Its sense organ is the grana, the nose. Principle known as the ashvini, the sense of smell. Its feature is granta, elimination. Its taste is bitter. In case you ever want to know what the root chakra tastes like. No, I assume this is just what taste is symbolized in the root chakra. Quality is samkochana, contraction. The part of the body it represents is the ashti, the bones. The organ it represents is the guda, which is, of course, the organ of excretion, the anus. And it represents the principle of yama, destruction. Its secretion is mutra, which of course is urine. The gland it represents is the gonads. And the plexus is the sacral plexus. And other names include the root chakra, the mula kamala, and the mula prakriti. There. That's everything you'd ever want to know about the root chakra. But we're going to dive even deeper. Yes, yes. But next time. We'll wrap up our life with reading about more. So, thank you for listening. Now we can open the floor to discuss anything which your heart desires. And thank you for those who sent a gift while we were reading, like dear Valentina for your tiny yippee, and for your heart meat and team bracelet. Thank you. Om Namah Shivaya. And Vanessa, thank you for your pair of roses. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you, Rainbow, for your rose. And Evelyn, thank you for your rose. Hare Krishna. Isabella, thank you for your rose. Om Namah Shivaya. And Haley Queen, thank you for your heart me as well. Radhe Radhe. I greet you to infinity. The next reading will be very enlightening. I imagine so. Namaskaram. Dravidiana. And Rainbow, you share that you hope the Yamdana will still be in shop for your birthday as it goes on your list. Kittens bring you joy. Oh, well, I don't plan on taking it down. So, yes. This Yamdana should be available in perpetuity. Shadow and Sandy need their own Yamdanas. Oh, well, I'm sure there's a cat somewhere on here that looks like them. In fact, this one kind of looks like Shadow. Or maybe this one. I don't know. There's dozens of them. Anyway, I hope you like that reading. I know that the information dense sections might not make for a good live reading. It's a great book, however. A good study book. Almost like a textbook on Chakras and Kundalini. Hello, dear brave Bella. I'm glad that you love the Yamdana. You as well, Ragnhildar. Now, dear online, you're wondering, how do we know that these are the correct colors for all the chakras? Well, it's traditional, and they form a very natural sequence. The root is the lowest of all chakras, and the lowest frequency of light that we can see is red. And it goes all the way up to magenta at the crown, which is the highest frequency of light that we can see. And so there's a rainbow upon the spine, stemming from the base all the way up to the top. So it makes sense that they would be a logical sequence of colors, just as there's a logical sequence of symbolism in each of these energy centers. Thank you, dear Melinda, for your quintet of friendship necklaces. Hari Om Tat Sat. And your community fest. Thank you. Also, it is said that all of the symbolisms for the chakras, they come from meditation. That if you dive deep within your own psyche, your subtle body, then these images will appear to you. The same is said to be true for a lot of the murtis, the divine images in Hinduism, in Buddhism, and in all of the dharmic religions, that they have been revelations arising from deep contemplation and meditation, which means that they should be intersubjectively verifiable. If anyone goes to the same depths of their consciousness, they should be greeted by the same or very similar symbolisms. Mr. B, you're wondering, where is Yamsox? Well, he's on the microphone, isn't he? Yamsox. Hello, Liardati. I hope you are well. It's a beautiful day today. The sun is shining still for me. And even if the sun is not shining for you, it's still up there. The source of light does not diminish, even when it is obscured by something in between. Eveline, you shared that last time we talked about dealing with desires, and I said, allow yourself to be uncomfortable. It has been very helpful. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, it's not easy to sit through a desire, but it can be made easier by allowing ourselves to feel uncomfortable. And that comes from knowledge, because the knowledge is that you have the ability to withstand this. That being uncomfortable doesn't mean that an aspect of your life is being impeded. In some ways, actually your consciousness blossoms through uncomfortable situations. Just like the resistance of, let's say, a plant bursting through soil. It has to push on the rocks and the dirt in order to finally grow. That feeling of resistance is the sign that you are growing. Hello, dear Melissa. You are wondering if I've ever thought about writing a book. What's the premise? Well, I'd love to write just about my experience of life. I think everyone has such a unique experience of life, and there are lots of stories from my childhood that I think people could get a laugh out of. I know I do. And I have lots of perspectives on things that I think could add to the global discussion. Richard is in disbelief of my background. Here, I'll touch the leaves for you. It's very real, my friend. But AI is getting so good that now we are mistaking real life for AI. It's a bit ironic, isn't it? But it goes to show that technological progress is really possible. And we've really seen that in the last few years with AI. Thank you, dear brave Bella, for your trio of roses. Hari Om Tat Sat. What's the blue box? Asks Marcy. Well, it's no box. It's part of a little wooden structure in my backyard. Above it, there is a bell and some prayer flags. I can show you. It's like a little seating area. As an I don't know what you call it. It's kind of like a gazebo if it was just two-dimensional. You know, there's no depth to the structure. It's just a little slice here. But it wraps around pretty far. Below which my mother is growing things. My mother is very good at taking care of her garden. Oh, I'm happy you find enjoyment in these live streams, Rob. I know they're not for everyone, but if anyone can get something out of this, then that is the reason that I do it. Bethany, you're wondering, what is my background? Well, it's my mother's backyard. And Derek, you're wondering, how do I give my life meaning? And a pergola, that's a great word for it, Oski. Yeah, it is a little pergola. How do you give your life meaning? Well, I think in the very essence of this question, you've answered it yourself. Because you are the one that is able to give your life meaning, is that not the most meaningful thing? That life is but a canvas for you to get to paint in the narrative of your life. In any moment, there are two stories simultaneously taking place. There is the story of your experience, of your five senses. But then there is the story that we superimpose on it. The narrative we come up in our mind. The more conscious we can become, the more independent our inner narrative is to the external world. And that becomes important when we deal with tragedy or misfortune. In these adversities, in these challenges of life, we can paint a picture of growth and prosperity. We can choose to see the events in our life as something which inspires us to make a difference, rather than a reason to hide ourselves away in a hole and cover ourselves up. As we experience suffering, we can use that as an opportunity to open up to life, to not let the world take away the preciousness that is your vulnerability, and go forth in service of all those who may experience similar things to you. That extra level of narrative is something that we get to decide in each moment. We can choose to laugh at our mistakes and grow from them without feeling defeated. I believe in this way we give meaning to our life. Thank you, dear Dagger, for your rose. And much like your username, a rose may be prickly, and it may pierce its wielder. But that is not to say there isn't a beauty waiting to blossom from the sharpness of the tool. Thank you, dear Starlight, for your flowers. Om Namah Shakti Shivaya. Eveline, you're wondering, what do I do for work? Has it something to do with what I share and hear? My idea of what I share and hear is my work, but yet I don't consider it a work at all. Because even if I have no wage, no salary, I'm still happy to show up every day voluntarily because I love what I do. Though my expenses are not much, they are paid for by generous donations, and I couldn't ask for anything more. And I could probably make do with even less. Who asked what my favorite color is? Marcy, you're wondering what my favorite color is. Oh, I really love all the colors. Because without all the other colors, then each one would have no meaning. In a world that was only red, would we even know it as such? Because there would only be shades of one monochromaticity. We require differences in order to perceive the unique beauty of each. I love color. Whenever I am making a character in a video game or something for YouTube like a thumbnail, I always try to include as many colors as I can. That's why all the thumbnails for my lives are rainbow. Over the week, they go from red, orange, yellow, green, teal, violet, magenta. I cannot help but include all the colors because I love all the saturations, all the hues, all the tones. My favorite color is the rainbow. Auntie, you are very kind. You share that. I am one of a kind. And because I'm in my purpose, the universe will provide. And I literally am one of the bravest people you know, real talk, and it's a privilege to be able to say that you know me. That's so kind of you. And all the same sentiments I wish to reflect back on you. That I know you will succeed in your unique aspects and the experience that has been afforded to you. And it is such a privilege to have wonderful beings like yourself to share such positive sentiments. You are wonderful. Henny boy, you are wondering what my ambitions are or goals. I would love to leave this world in a better place than where I found it. That is my duty to Mother Earth, since she has afforded me this body. I would not be able to experience this universe without the elements coming together to form this body. And these elements have been taken from this planet. Therefore, I have a solemn duty for this planet. And for all of the people in my life that provide me with love, knowledge, wisdom. That's my duty, my Dharma. I know that my soul will not be satisfied doing anything small, and it is a blessing as it is a curse. That I am stubborn enough to leave an impression in this world on a large scale. One day we'll get there. But until then, just living every day, one moment at a time is my purpose. I have nowhere else to be at this moment, other than here, before you now. It is the greatest purpose to be able to speak to you all here. you provide me with the biggest opportunity to be able to share my experience, connect with yours, and learn from you. In that sense, all my goals are satisfied just by sharing this moment with you. I love that sauce. You share that planet Earth is our real body. We are just like a cell in the body of Earth. And just like all the cells in our body have a unique identity, yet they come together to form a larger self, so too, we are part of a greater whole that we call our super self. Thank you, dear Gina, for your quintet of community fests. It's nice to see you again here. Hari Om Tat Sat. Auntie, you share that you're a travel agent, going to get the multi-billion-dollar companies to go green. I love that ambition, and I am certainly rooting for you, as all of the other roots of all the animals and plants, part of this earth. Danny boy, you share, for you it's the same, but you realize you can do more and need to, of course. And that is why we are afforded a new day every day, so that we can take what we learned from yesterday and improve upon it. There is always more that we can achieve. Chloe, you share, your ambition is to entertain people. I love that. That's great. Some people feel like they have to enjoy this universe, be entertained by it, to be happy. But is it not the case that the universe is our audience, and that we are putting on a show for it? Universe is our audience, our silent witness, the light and the stage, and we are the actors and actresses upon it, here to put on something meaningful. Sadik, you are wondering if the root chakra is pride, what's the other chakras? Actually, the solar plexus chakra is pride. The solar plexus chakra represents our individuality. It's a logical sequence. The root is our potential. The sacral is how that potential manifests. And then the solar plexus represents the uniqueness, the independence of that unique manifestation. So if there is pride, then it lies in the solar plexus chakra. Because pride means that I am greater than someone else. There is a sense of being proud within your individuality. The heart chakra represents love and fear. The throat represents communication, connection. Third eye represents vision and command. In fact, that's what Agna means. It means vision or command, which is the Sanskrit term for the third eye chakra. And the crown, of course, represents everything coming together in harmony. And thank you, dear Dagger, for your tiny. Yippee! Talon, you're wondering, are we not supposed to ask questions about this world? Just understand. You don't even know if that makes sense. I think I understand what you mean. Of course we're supposed to ask questions. We're supposed to be mystified, but we're not supposed to come to conclusions. That's the secret sauce. Is that this universe is ripe for inquiry, but there are no conclusions. Because a conclusion would make it static. It would finish it in some sense. It would end the play. in the story that never ends. We only go deeper. We only go higher. We can only ask more and more questions. Thank you, dear Gabriella, for your heart me. Danny boy, you're wondering, do I feel that Gandhi or Bill Gates gave more back to the world? What a person gives is not something we can compare to another. Everyone has a unique way in which they give to the world, and that is wonderful. Everyone also has the capacity to have done more than what they've done, and I'm sure there are many faults that we could point to Gandhi or Bill Gates. But our duty as humans is not to point out the faults or flaws in others, but see them for the value that they contribute. And if there are faults, we can see that as a reflection of what we can improve upon if we were to go down a similar path. Hello, dear Sarah. I'm happy you like my yam Dana. Thank you. Much love to you too. Gabriella, you share that existence gives you the capacity to see others for their light as much as their darkness. Beautifully put. And I like that, Derek. The butterfly effect, the smallest act of kindness can make a change. Though we have such a large population, we are but, 6 degrees of separation from anyone, on average. This means that any effect that you make on others can have a rippling effect around the whole world very quickly. Sure, it is subtle and not always conscious, but the impression you make on others shapes their destiny just as much as it does for you. Therefore, it is so important for us to do good, because you never know how far that little bit of goodness will go. There is a lot of suffering in the world. Sometimes we can take that suffering and we can hand it off to someone else. We can say, I can't deal with this emotion. I am feeling anger. Please, I will express my anger to you so that you can take it off my hands. But it is no one's responsibility to take emotions that they cannot process themselves. Sometimes it is a blessing to receive negative feelings when we have the ability to process them, because we can stop the chain of reciprocation. Oh, this negativity ends with me. Here, I receive it, but I am not going to pass it on. I am going to see the beauty in it, forgive the person to whom it came from, process it into something more, and move on. We are all networks of emotional distribution centers, aren't we? It is our duty to share the love and the positive sentiments, but take the negative, stop it in its tracks, and convert it into something more. We do that through our sadhana, through our spiritual practice. We do that through prayer, through meditation, through mantra. Any time in which we hold space for a certain negativity, as well as all of the other feelings in tandem, and we just watch them dissolve. No emotion is fixed. All emotions change, they just require patience. Like if you sit with anxiety for long enough, eventually it will transform into a kind of ecstasy. If you sit with fear long enough, eventually it will turn into a kind of bravery. If you sit with misery for long enough, eventually it will turn into a kind of euphoria, empathy. We just have to be willing to allow these feelings to come and go. Thank you for being such a loving and accepting addition to this space, Ragnhildur. Gabriella, you share, you believe in karma, bringing any amount of joy to those who need it. It'll come back within time. And thank you, Andrea, for your rose as well. Om Kring Kalikai Namaha. Lucas, you ask if you can have some Kool-Aid. This is a reference to a great tragedy in which the Jonestown massacre happened. It's very sad that people were able to take their lives because of the words of others. And I thank you for reminding me of this tragedy, because it gives me the opportunity to remind you all that nothing that I say is to replace any of your experiences. I hope not to give you some words that are meant to redirect you from the path that you're already on. I only wish to share my experience in a way that you can relate with. And if you can relate with that, that's wonderful. If you can't, then I would love for you to find a space somewhere else in which you have the support and the connection that's going to be the fuel for your spiritual growth. No one is ever expected to be here. For those who don't know, there was this massacre that happened where someone poisoned Kool-Aid and gave it to all of their members because it was some divine prophecy that they would go to a positive afterlife or something. It's a reminder that sometimes spirituality can turn dark and spiritual communities can become like cults that take away from a person's life rather than increase their possibilities. And it's a sobering reminder for us to be aware and alert of. And it is my wish that this never happens again. Oh, you see, you share that you're having a challenging trip, but this music is making it more intense. Oh, my friend, if you feel more comfortable somewhere else, then please go wherever you are most comfortable. I've certainly had some challenging trips before, and I know that an understimulating environment can be very helpful. At the same time, I've learned many lessons from those trips, and I'm sure that you will look back on it in a more steady state of mind with a kind of love and laughter. Hello, Sazrar. Thank you for your heart, me too. Hare Krishna. Hello, Brandy Boys. Thank you for your rose too. Brian, you were wondering, have I experienced Kundalini up the spine? You sadly fear it? Oh, it's nothing to fear. as long as we are doing our sadhana, our spiritual practices, then our nervous system can be prepared for intense experiences. When we try to force it, that's the danger. But as long as you're not trying to force any of these esoteric experiences, then you're not in any danger. All things happen in good times. Now, I did want to remind everyone that I have a shorter live stream today because I promised my father that we'd go and play billiards together, play pool. Now that my parents are separating, the time that I have with him is very precious. So, although I normally do these lives every day and for several hours, I make an exception for my father because his time is so precious with me. But I'd still like to read to you before we go. Read from The Hidden Power in Humans, which incidentally is about chakras and Kundalini. So we'll wrap up our Sangha today with a little reading from this. Kundalini comes from the root, the Muladhara chakra. It is that which represents the greatest potential for human beings. The etymology of this Sanskrit word comes from mula, which means root, and adhara, which means the basis, the foundation. Mula can also mean origin or essence, so muladhara means the very potential from which all our energies arise. Let's dive deep into the essence of the Muladhara chakra. And I really like how as we're reading through the chakras on the side of the page begin to light up, starting with the red light at the root. Just as the womb of the mother creates the basic requirement for the growth of the embryo, the Muladhara chakra forms the basis and the starting point for our spiritual development. It is the foundation from which we climb the ladder of the chakras, the root from which we receive the nourishment for our spiritual development. For this reason, and because it lies at the lowest point in the spinal column below the coccyx, it also bears the name root chakra. Everyone admires the leaves and flowers of a plant, but hardly anyone admires or takes notice of the roots that lie hidden in the darkness of the earth. But the roots form the basis of the vegetation. From the sustenance received from the roots, the sprout gains the power to penetrate the dark soil, grow upwards towards the sun, and produce flowers, fruits, and seeds. Kundalini Shakti, spiritual energy, has its roots in the Muladhara chakra, but it is a deep, motionless sleep. When we awaken this slumbering potential that lies within the Muladhara chakra, we are able to work our way towards the light of knowledge and attain the fruit of self-realization. Sri Mahaprabhuji described the process of the development of consciousness from the Muladhara chakra to supreme consciousness in a bhajan, in a devotional song. In this bhajan, he mentions a yoga technique through which we can awaken the Kundalini Shakti in the Muladhara chakra. This yoga technique is known as Yoga Nidra, the conscious sleep of the yogi. For more information about Yoga Nidra, you can see the book called Lila Amrit, The Divine Life of Sri Mahaprabhuji. Cassettes and CDs of Yoga Nidra practices are available at yoga and daily life centers. So this Yoga Nidra, the conscious sleep of the yogi, which is able to give us deep and beautiful experiences at a higher level of consciousness. It is also practiced as a deep relaxation technique. Here we'll sing the Bhajan of Yoga Nidra. And again, as always, I don't know the original language or melody, so You'll have to make do with my improv. Only a few know the secret of Yoga Nidra, for with this sleep that is conscious, the sun rises in the night. Directing the gaze inwards, you rest in shunya, white emptiness detached completely from the body. The downward-facing blossom opens, and your words come from your heart. The suspended ribbon of consciousness is tied with Turiya, and the unattainable becomes attainable. Countless suns are shining in the emptiness. The power of divine nature awakens in the reversed blossom and grows into super-consciousness. When their consciousness merges with the super-consciousness, the yogi experiences the eternal self. They hear the soundless sound of the divine name. The moment their consciousness unites with the Supreme, they gain knowledge of the tattvas, the elements. Now their consciousness has returned to its divine homeland. Here there is only pure consciousness. There are no visions. Beforehand their work lacked clarity. They were standing on the shore, conjectured about what it would be like on the other side. Now they are Purusha, complete. Now their words bear witness to what lies on the other side. The omniscient Shiva revealed to us the great science of yoga. Sri Krishna explains it in the Gita. Many saints and yogis have spoken about it, but only a few have attained perfection. Sri Alakh Puriji, the true sannyasin, has realized all levels. Sri Deva Puriji, the Lord of yogis, showed to me that formless world. Only a few know the way of Yoga Nidra. Those who master it can understand what Guru means. Swami Deep says, the true heroes are those who have awoken the eternal consciousness within their consciousness. Do forgive me for that. There were some technical Sanskrit terms in that. For example, Turiya refers to the supreme consciousness, the fourth state beyond the deep sleep, the dream and the waking. The downward-facing blossom symbolizes the Muladhara Chakra, out of which climbs the Kundalini Shakti, the spiritual energy. Purusha meant human, and here it means the self. And a sannyasin is one who has renounced the world, a term for a monk in the Sanatana Dharma. Alright. The karmas, the actions of our past lives, rest in the Muladhara Chakra, and from these arise the happiness or unhappiness experienced in this current life, known as the prarabdha karma. From every act that we perform or have performed, a seed is sown in the Muladhara Chakra that will sooner or later rise into the light. And these seeds determine our fortune. In each lifetime, we have planted innumerable seeds that continue to grow and multiply until a dense, impenetrable jungle has arisen. The Muladhara Chakra is the seat of the unconscious. It is like a dark, locked cellar whose hidden contents we have only a vague idea about. Perhaps there are precious stones, or perhaps poisonous scorpions or snakes. When a snake is sleeping, therefore in an unconscious state, it appears to be peaceful and harmless, but in a wakeful state it can be extremely menacing and dangerous. When the Muladhara Chakra becomes active, qualities that we have not suspected were within us, such as destructive rage, all-consuming passion, excessive desires, or deep-seated anger can surface and astound us. Or, on the other hand, we can also experience wonderful feelings of freedom, joy, harmony, and closeness with the divine. All these experiences await us when we open the door of the unconscious and illuminate it with the light of knowledge. When we recognize our reality within the Muladhara Chakra, our entire perspective of the world can change instantaneously. One question that is often raised is whether it would be better to allow the unconscious to remain buried rather than to stir it up. The answer is that we can only attain freedom when everything that we have carried with us since the beginning of our existence is brought up into the light. Further spiritual development is only possible when everything we have amassed has been processed and purified, and all obstacles from the past removed. It is only when our vision is clear that we are able to recognize the path that will lead us towards realization. Our discussion of the Muladhara Chakra continues for many pages, so this will have to be a multi-part reading. But thank you for listening. It is clear that all that untapped potential for both good and bad must be realized at the deepest level. All in good time. Om Namah Shivaya. And with that, I thank you all for listening. And it will be wrapping up this live stream any minute now. Thank you. Thank you, dear Gina, for the Heart Me Community Fest, GGs, and a rose you sent while we were reading. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Eveline, thank you for your forever rosa. Hari Om Tat Sat. That's very kind of you. And thank you, Andrea, for the heart me you sent as well. Om Kring Kalikaye Namaha. Now, although this live stream will be coming to a close, and I will be going to hang out with my lovely father. If anyone had any things they'd like to share with me, my messages are always open on other platforms. You can find all those linked as icons in the link tree in my bio. My Instagram, Telegram, WhatsApp, email, they're always open. So you're welcome to share things with me there if I'm unable to attend to them here. You are right, Grassy Fairy. There is a sock by my face. This is a Yamsox. The Yamsox, along with a tiny beanie, which is not something I can wear in this heat. And now this yamdana full of cats wearing bandanas and yams. They're all available on the link tree in my bio, the store section. Never expected, but in case you ever wanted anything physical in return for support of this Sangha, then that's there for you. But with that, I bid you adieu. I want to also remind you that all the readings and the recordings of this whole live stream are uploaded to the Yamsox Live's YouTube channel in the link tree in my bio, in case there's any part of it that you wanted to listen to again, as is all of the previous live streams. And recently I've been at the ASMR YouTube channel again, and there are some more ASMR Bhagavad Gita videos out. Namely, we're all the way up to the 10th chapter now, which, by the way, is my favorite chapter of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Oh, it's so nice. The premise of the chapter is lovely. The premise is, how would God describe himself in a whole chapter, not just in a single sentence? The ultimate being, how would they identify themselves? And it's just verses after verses of beautiful associations that really awaken one's consciousness. I think you'll enjoy it. So may this live stream be an offering to the divinity within you. Om Bhur-Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. From material existence to the subtle and causal realm, therein we find that sun-like radiance worthy of reverence, dissolver of darkness, feminine divine we meditate upon. May you enlighten our intellect and propel us further on the spiritual path. Thank you, Andrea, for your heart me. And thank you, Lonella, for your rose too. Radhe or Radhe. May you all have a wonderful rest of your present moment. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.